Welcome to Pages, the librarian's notebook, where we explore great nonfiction in under 15 minutes. I read over 35 nonfiction books each year and have served on a state nonfiction committee dedicated to finding the most engaging, thought-provoking titles out there, books that anyone can enjoy. While the focus is on nonfiction, you might occasionally hear about a standout fiction title as well. This episode dives into the wild, exploring nature, conservation, and the animals we're in danger of losing. These books reveal the impact of human activity on ecosystems and spotlight the scientists, activists, and storytellers that are working to protect vulnerable species. Whether it's birds, beavers, or elusive mountain creatures, each story offers a powerful blend of science and wonder. Let's dive in. Our first book is Birdgirl by Maya Rose Craig. This memoir follows Maya, a British Bangladeshi birder and activist, as she travels the globe in search of rare birds while navigating personal challenges, including her mother's mental illness. Growing up, family vacations were spent traveling the world looking for birds while her parents added to their birding life list. It was a way for her family to deal with her mom's mental illness. Her mom seemed to come alive and be her true self when she was out in nature looking for birds, and it made it possible for her family to connect and grow closer, despite the many challenges they faced. When Maya was 11, she started a blog called Birdgirl, where she documented her birding adventures and connected with others in the conservation and birding communities. When she was 17, she became the youngest person to see half the birds in the world, and it's believed that there could be as many as 18,000 different species of birds on the planet. Today, Maya is just 23 years old. She's a doctor, an ornithologist, environmentalist, activist, and published author, to name just a few of her many accomplishments. She has started nonprofits to encourage youth to get out and explore nature. I loved this book. You know I love a book when it makes me dive deeper into a topic, and I did that with this book. I wanted to see the places that she was visiting. I wanted to see the birds that she was describing and seeing. I wanted to see what rare birds are out there and which ones are in my area. I had no clue that bird watching was such a big thing, and I didn't have a clue what a life list was. But, just so you know, I now have my own life list of birds, along with 3 different birding apps on my phone, and it's all because of this book. This book makes you take notice of the world around you. You start listening to the birds' song, you start looking at the wildlife in your own backyard, and there are so many birding apps out there, ones that with the push of a button will identify a bird just by the sound it's making, and then you can go and create your own life list and explore nature, no matter where you live. I don't go on vacation anymore without trying to add to my life list of birds. It's fun, it's interesting, it's unique. I think birding is sometimes seen as something that you do when you get older, when you retire. But I love that Maya Rose Craig makes this appealing to someone of any age. She's an excellent author, and I look forward to reading more from her in the future. Speaking of birds, did you know that the common swift flies about 1.2 million miles in its lifetime, flying non-stop without ever landing for 10 months of every year? Or did you know that the pangolin has a tongue that is longer than its body, and it keeps it in an interior pouch near its hip? Vanishing Treasures, a bestiary of extraordinary endangered creatures by Catherine Rundle, is our next book, and it's full of amazing stories about unique and quirky animals. This beautifully written collection of essays profiles 23 endangered species, from wombats and Greenland sharks to lemurs and golden moles. Rundle combines science, history, and myth to explore how human fascination often leads to exploitation. I love how the author blends together myth, history, and science to bring these animals to life. Not only does she describe the animal and why they are at risk, but she tells interesting stories about them, like maybe how the animal is featured in literature, or the science behind the animal's behavior. Her writing captures the magic and mystery of creatures like the narwhal, which is a real-life unicorn with a tusk that we still don't fully understand. Scientists aren't sure why narwhals have them, but that tusk has fascinated people for centuries. One of the earliest records dates back to 1577, when people believed it held magical powers. This is a book that you can read in small doses when you find yourself curious about nature, as each essay is only about 4 to 6 pages in length, and it's so engaging. The book is both a celebration of biodiversity and a call to action, urging readers to protect the strange and wonderful creatures we're losing. It will make you love all of these weird little animals. Speaking of weird animals, I can't drive past a Buc-ee's without thinking about this next book and the chaotic little geniuses who build dams, flood roads, and are basically nature's weird little engineers with a very big flair for drama. Beaverland, How One Weird Rodent Made America by Layla Philippe doesn't sound like the type of book that I would just absolutely love, but I did. Philippe explores the surprising ecological and historical significance of the beaver. Once nearly extinct due to the fur trade, beavers are now seen as an ecosystem engineer capable of restoring wetlands and mitigating climate change. Philippe traces their role in shaping America's economy and landscapes, from colonial expansion to modern conservation efforts. She introduces readers to scientists, trappers, and activists, which are called beaver believers, who are working to rewild America with this industrious rodent. The book is a compelling blend of environmental science, cultural history, and personal storytelling. I almost don't even know where to start to really tell you about this book because I thought it was all so good. But here are a few highlights. The conservation angle is very powerful in this book, especially how Philippe explains the way human development, like fences, roads, neighborhoods, it disrupts the natural flow of water in a landscape. These changes contribute to droughts and they reshape entire ecosystems. But beavers, they instinctively know how to fix it. They build and adjust dams to slow water, to make it move faster, to put the water where they want it. They store it, and they create these thriving wetlands. It's like they read the land and respond with complete engineering genius, with no blueprints required. They can reduce damage caused by humans and create environments that reduce flooding and protect areas from wildfires. They are definitely smart creatures. Another interesting thing is that beavers produce something called castor. Castor is sought after for its medicinal properties, and it has been used for centuries to treat headaches and epilepsy. But beaver castor is also used to flavor candy, ice cream, and high-end liquors. If you have eaten strawberry-flavored candy or ice cream, you've probably eaten beaver castor, because it enhances raspberry and strawberry flavors. It is also labeled as a natural food additive by the FDA. I also loved the story in this book about the beaver that was kept as a pet. It had such a personality and it seemed to be so intelligent. This book definitely made me think differently about weird little creatures. There are parts of the book that feel a little slow, but I promise it's well worth the read. And finally, what drives two men to risk their lives chasing a creature the world isn't even sure exists? In the 1920s, the Roosevelt brothers, Ted and Kermit, sons of President Theodore Roosevelt, set out on a perilous expedition into the Himalayas, not for fame, but to find a beast cloaked in legend and mystery. After exploring the grounded genius of beavers, we now head into the clouds. The Beast in the Clouds, the Roosevelt brothers' deadly quest to find the mythical giant panda by Nathalia Holt, is part adventure, part scientific quest, and part myth-chasing. It's a story of ambition, danger, and the moment the Western world first met the giant panda. This was a time period of exploration all over the world. Scientists and adventurers would set out to find new species of animals and send them back to big museums. Their idea of conservation at that time was not to really keep the animal alive. They wanted to bring it back to study it. And they would put it in museums for everyone to see and for scientists to dive deeper into the study of that animal. The Roosevelt brothers wanted to do just that. They wanted to find the mythical panda that they had heard all these stories about and send it back to the Chicago Museum. They were big game hunters, just like their father, and we've all heard the legendary tales of Teddy Roosevelt and his big game hunts. And his sons were just like him. They were excited about this opportunity to hunt the big ferocious panda bear. Little did they know that the panda was not at all the type of bear they expected it to be. This revelation completely changed who the men were and their views of wildlife conservation. I enjoyed this book immensely. I love adventure and travel books, and learning about the Himalayan adventure with all its danger and mystery was very intriguing, but the ending was a little bit heartbreaking to read. I was not expecting to get so engrossed in the struggle that Ted and Kermit had with their views on wildlife and conservation. We all know today that panda bears are these cute, cuddly creatures, but there was a time when they were a mystery to most of the world. We've now traveled from backyard birding to Himalayan expeditions. We've met creatures with tusks and tongues and dam-building rodents, and explored how storytelling can spark conservation. Whether it's a beaver reshaping a stream or a birder reshaping a movement, these books remind us that the natural world is full of wonder and worth protecting. So next time you hear a birdsong, spot a strange animal, or drive past a Buc-ee's, maybe you'll think a little differently about the wild lives around us. And I hope you'll visit your local library to check out these animal and nature-themed titles. Thanks for listening to Pages, the Librarian's Notebook. Follow, share, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And as always, keep reading, keep exploring, and keep feeding your curiosity.